Woke up this morning, you did notice that there was no fog for once, but again, it was very, very light in some parts of the region as well. And we'll be seeing a forecast high staying. We're struggling to hit 80 degree day because of the lower clouds and anything else as well. And we're going to be seeing that trend basically take over the entire day. Most of today is, like we said, struggling to hit 80 degrees with the overnight low of 68. And again, these cooler temperatures are going to continue to be around for most of the day as well. And if you like cool weather, go and take advantage of it. But of course, we do see some rain moving in later in the afternoon as well. So if you do have plans to be, again, out and about on campus this afternoon, just keep the umbrella, rain gear, poncho, whatever you need to do to stay dry, just to keep that in mind. We'll be seeing a forecast low near 64 tonight, as the potential of seeing some heavy rain later on the evening hours as well. Fog may be likely tomorrow morning if we do get into that. And again, we'll continue to keep you updated on Radio Free Radford. Check us out on Twitter at Radio Free Raddy. Follow us on Instagram at Radio Free Radford, and just search up Radio Free Radford on Facebook. Like us, follow us, tweet us, hashtag us. You know the routine. And you can also check out RU Weather One. That's also on Instagram and Twitter, and you can get the latest weather information regarding Radford University or the city of Radford as well. But anyway, of course, yesterday was Grandparents' Day, and of course, a happy belated Grandparents' Day to all the grandparents out there. I thought I'd give you a little bit of history about why we do celebrate this here in the United States. This was adopted in 1978 and was officially recognized in a number of countries of various days throughout the year as either as one holiday or different holiday. So again, we always celebrate that. It seems to be on the second Sunday of the month of September, and this again was passed in Congress by the legislation of the first Sunday after Labor Day. So this was known as National Grandparents' Day on August 3rd, 1978. And then former President Jimmy Carter then signed the proclamation to make it a national holiday as well. And of course, more concerning is the weather. It seems like that has been the number one top story since last week. The National Hurricane Center, boy, you talk about a busy group of people. And of course, they send these aircraft pilots out in these hurricanes to take a look of what wind shear is expected and what is anticipated for this hurricane moving our way. Hurricane Florence, of course, the 8 o'clock advisory came out this morning, and it's a hurricane of a Category 2 storm now, and it's expected to maintain a very major hurricane by late tonight or early tomorrow morning, talking about a Category 4 storm with winds near 150 miles an hour winds. Can you imagine that right there? You know, standing outside of here in Radford, I think everybody would be blown away if we would sustain 150 miles an hour of winds. And that brings the question up to now. A lot of people are, what does these winds actually represent? Well, it's all part of it. It's a scale called the Saffir-Simpson scale. And we're going to be, again, normal hurricanes. Let's start off with a tropical depression, basically meaning winds less than 39 miles or lower. And then, of course, you get to this possible of a tropical storm. Then it's just between winds of 40 to 74 miles an hour. And then you get into the hurricane categories, which is, Category 1 through 5. And a Category 1 storm, it's which was yesterday or last night about 11 o'clock from the National Hurricane Center, put that out there. And so, of course, it would be some damage would be possible, but a Cat 1 storm is between 74 and 95, And again, now the next step would be a Cat 2, which is between 96 and 110 miles. That would bring some extensive damage right there as well. And then the Category 3 storm, which it did maintain for a while last week, winds of 111 to 129 miles per hour. That would bring some devastating destruction. And a Category 4 and 5 is just so catastrophic. The Cat 4 winds are between 130 and 156. And that's what expected. This is what Hurricane Florence is expected to become, either late tonight or early tomorrow morning. And a Cat 5 is winds of 157 or higher. And of course, last year we all remember Hurricane Harvey very much. It impacted a lot of Texas. Corpus Christi was the main city that was impacted, as well as the other cities around the area and parts of Louisiana and they was caulking the debate of possibly a Category 6 storm, and there is no such thing as a Category 6 storm, and I don't see that in the making either. But anyway, that's just weather talk that just was going around last year when we had that possible major hurricane and that impacted Texas. But our main concern comes late this coming weekend, and if you do have plans to maybe travel towards the East Coast, I would go ahead and, I'm not in the travel business by no means, but I'm just preparing you of what could be the worst case scenario as we are seeing this storm approach the landfall. It looks like between Wilmington and Norfolk, and Wilmington, South Carolina, and Norfolk, Virginia. And between somewhere in that area, computer models are coming to agreement that this storm could be a one for the record books. And if it does make landfall between Wilmington and Norfolk this coming weekend, it's going to bring us some extensive rainfall, as much as computer models are spitting out between 8 and 15 inches of rain from southwest Virginia to southeastern Virginia, along Virginia Beach to Cape Hatteras, Kitty Hawk, and Wilmington, and Myrtle Beach as well. Those areas could see the sustainable, high flash flooding, but this is still 5 days out, and we're still, keeping a close eye on that. And a lot of people, we have not seen a catastrophic storm such strong like this. We have to go back to 1989. I don't know if some of the you can ask your advisors about this and your professors as well. Hurricane Hugo made a real huge impact in 1989. And back in the 1960s, Hurricane Camille made the same situation and came from that direction and laid a lot of flooding here in southwest Virginia and parts of the New River Valley and South Side and Roanoke Valleys also. And we're, again, talked about it. That was a catastrophic disaster, and a lot of people, the flood of 85 in parts of Roanoke and Buchanan, those areas saw some sustainable damage right there as well, and was one of the sustainable historic floods that this part southwestern Virginia has seen in quite a while. So again, just a couple of things about what you can do to prepare if we do see a potential catastrophic storm make landfall this coming weekend. Go ahead and, I know a lot of the grocery stores, they are probably starting to get low on food supplies, and especially the number one thing everybody seems to run for is the milk, bread, eggs, and a lot of that stuff too. But of course, if you do have that, you could have the possibility of power outages too, and that's something we don't want to see around here. And again, it's not zero, but again, it's not 100. So it's between, we're just continue to keep a close eye on that. Have nourishable food items, such as buy you some granola bars, maybe, and some 24 pack of water, as well as if you are do medication, be sure to try to stock up on that also. A lot of very important essential items you need to keep aware about. And also, a backup generator wouldn't be the case. And of course, nowadays that a lot of our phones, we always in need of a charger. So go ahead and try to maybe pick up a portable charger or 2 or 3. And of course, for your laptop and iPhones and tablets and iPods, if we even have those around anymore, and MP3 players, I don't know. But anyway, we just throwing some beneficial things out there for your key safety, and also flashlights, batteries, just in case if the potential is there for some catastrophic damage moving our way. But again, we're still 5 days out. That the storm could make landfall and could go further out to the ocean and give us less of a direct impact, but we'd still have some rain and some winds to contend with. But if one of the computer models we're looking at this morning, it's showing it, direct impact into parts of, Wilmington and Norfolk, we could get some, incredible damage from this storm. More concerning of flooding and winds, tropical storm force winds, that's between, like I said, 70 miles an hour. That's pretty intensifying. That would be high sustained gusts. But then we would see around the neck of the woods between 30 and 50 miles an hour if this storm is continue to play on track. So this is a week you need to go ahead and get prepared. And, don't take last-minute actions on this, because this is something that you don't want to experience either. But anyway, that's the top weather story for the week. We're also watching Hurricane Helene and Isaac. Hurricane Helene is expected to remain out in the sea and go northward off of the Cape Verde Islands of Africa. So, and then we're also watching Hurricane Isaac. That could be a potential threat for the Lesser Antilles and the Puerto Rico Islands down towards the South America border in Central America. It's expected to become a hurricane. Expected winds between 70 and 74 miles an hour and higher, I should say. And but right now, as of this morning, it's still a hurricane with winds somewhere in the 70 to 100 mile an hour gust. But again, Western Antilles, Puerto Rico Islands, those heads up for those areas down that way also. But anyway, so that's just, continue to monitor that. You can check all that out. And if you want to go back and listen to this, you can go on YouTube, actually, and search up Dustin Staples. There will be a pre-recording of this, and you can check it out. And you can also find more on Radio Free Radford on Instagram and on Facebook, and follow us on Twitter at Radio Free Ratty. And we'll, keep you updated all week long on this. And RU Weather One is also on Instagram and Twitter. And that's basically the forecast analysis for the day. And, of course, coming up tomorrow for show-wise, we, of course, yours truly will be back here at 10 a.m. We'll also have Corey Dembeau coming in from 11 to 12. Allison Schreiner and Jesse Taylor will be tag teaming between 1 and 1:30. And Carl's Miles will wrap up the day between 3 and 3:30 tomorrow here on RadioFreeRadford.com. And as well, tomorrow is a very important day in history. It is September the 11th, or also known as 9/11. And we'll talk a little bit more about such an event that no one would ever thought would have happened here in America. And we'll talk a little bit more about that coming up tomorrow. And of course, we'll continue to honor and remember those who, again, thank the firefighters and the people that were affected by that. But anyway, just a reminder, if you are trying to figure out when the hurricane season's over with, we're about 81 days left. And with that, and it will end on November 31st. And, of course, then a lot of the concern will come to winter storms. And I love the snow. I enjoy the snowstorm. I enjoy a nice little snowstorm. I could be in the middle of the night, and I get up and I could just gaze out the window all night long if I had to. But anyway, we'll get that. We'll cross that bridge when that comes. But in the meantime, we appreciate you listening on to RadioFreeRadford.com. Have a great day out there, folks. Keep your umbrella with you, and your rain jacket, and your poncho, and your all that wonderful boots and stuff like that. The potential, again, for a dangerous hurricane could be on the horizon by the time we hit on Thursday night and early Friday. Have a great day, folks.